What is going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to show you an automated weed farm in the Bungalow on Schedule 1. The Bungalow is a 3-room house capable of having up to 5 unique employees and is located on the top left-hand side of the map. If you don't know how to purchase this, you can actually make your way to this location to the Raise Realty to buy the Bungalow for $6,000. Now, for this setup, you're going to require a chemist, a handler, one optional handler for like some extra benefits I'll show you towards the end of the video, a botanist, and a cleaner because botanists make a lot of mess. All right, so let me go inside and show you what the setup looks like. Quite simply, we have this main room over here where our mixing stations are, which each have a large storage rack behind them that has the substance that needs to be mixed in each mixing station. This is a 3-step mixer. What that means is that a product is going to go in here, get mixed with mouthwash, then is going to be moved to this one, mixed with the Coke, then is going to be moved here and mixed with banana. And once that is done, it is going to be sent to the packaging station where it will be packaged into jars and then finally stored into this storage place over here. Now, because this is an automatic farm, you're going to see that we have 2 storage places with jars. But if you don't require 2 automated and you don't want the additional 5th handler, you don't need this extra 2 storage places. This one here is just for random shit that we're going to hold on to. Now into the next room, you'll see here we have a storage rack over here. We have one on this wall and we have one in this wall over here. And you can see I've laid out 6 pots, only 6, even though we can have up to 8. We're instead going to do a 6-pot setup with 2 drying racks. Since a botanist can use 8 different objects, they're going to be doing the 6 pots and the 2 drying racks just like so. Now the pot system is quite simple. You place down the pot, you place down the suspension rack around it, and you place the light directly above it. So the same for each of the 6 pots. And then we have a supply rack in this corner over here that's going to have the extra long life soil or whichever soil you prefer using. And then we're going to have our seeds for planting. In our case here, we're using the OG Kush seed. And then you'll see in the dead center of the room, we have a trash can because the cleaner will be picking up all the trash around here and then throwing it in the trash can and then emptying the trash can as they go. In this next room, this is actually where we store the bedroom. I'm also going to set up a few things here to have as extra, which I'll show you towards the end of the video. And then we have a bunch of supplies that the second handler that we have is going to be useful for, which is optional. You don't need to do that part. You'll see here we have the 5 beds for the 5 employees and we have a bed for ourselves so that we can sleep too if this is your only house. Now this is a very spacious design. It's very easy to walk around without getting stuck, and you can use the back door entrance here without it being blocked off in case that's something you desire. Before we set everything up, let me show you where you need to go buy all of the resources we're going to use for this automated farm. So making our way to the hardware store for the first stop, this is where we're going to get a lot of the introduction kind of items. This mainly being the packaging station, the jars, as many as you can carry, and you're going to have to transport a bunch of them. You'll also be able to buy your large storage racks over here with the 8 slots that they can carry. You'll buy 1 trash can from this location, and right at the very top, you can buy your soil that you'll be using for your plants. In order to get seeds, you should be aware of this system. You're going to go to messages. You're going to look for your supplier, who is going to be Albert Hoover. So Albert Hoover, you can speak with him. You can either order a dead drop, or after you've unlocked it, you can ask him to meet up. This is a much better option because when you speak with him here, you can actually buy as much seeds as you can carry. So it's better than the 10 limit that you have from ordering from drops. And then if we make our way to any of the gas marts in the game, this is where we're going to be getting a bunch of other resources. In our case, we'll be buying the Coke, the bananas, and the mouthwash. You're also able to get some more jars here. Then once the game time hits 6 p.m., you'll be able to go to the warehouse, which of course is located in this building here. And you'll make your way over to Oscar's little table store. Here you'll be able to get the moisture preserving pots, suspension rails, and the full spectrum lights, or whichever the best lights that you currently have access to are. You can also find the drying racks for sale here, which we're going to be using to make the quality of some of our product much higher. Moving on, you'll see you'll be able to get your mixing station MK2 over here, which we'll be needing 3 of. If you're far enough in the game to have unlocked the brick press, this will be a much better thing to use because this allows you to condense a lot of product into much smaller packages so that you don't have to have so much inventory space to carry everything. And that's pretty much all you need. All right, so now it's time to set up all our workers and employees. So we're gonna use our clipboard, which is on our hotbar at the number 9 key, and we'll start with the chemist. So manage the chemist and we'll assign a bed for her to sleep in. So pick any bed, it does not matter which one. Then we're going to click assigned stations. The chemist is only gonna have these 3 mixing stations, or in your case, if you only want one of them, you can have just one, but in our case, we're using 3. You can hold shift to select multiples and then just hit escape or enter to be done. And that will assign all the stations that they need to manage. And that's pretty much it for the chemist. They're just a glorified button presser. Then we can go ahead and set up the cleaner, which is the easiest setup to do. Manage the cleaner, assign them a bed, pick any bed that you want. And then you're going to assign up to 3 trash cans. In our case, we only need the 1 trash can around the pots. You can see when we target the bin, anything in the green area will be picked up if trash is dropped there, which is perfect for us in this location. And we just need that 1, which is perfect. Now we'll go ahead and work with the Botanist, which we're going to manage, assign a bed. Just as you've done so before, assign a bed. And then you're going to assign a supplies storage. So click none. And we're going to use this supply storage over here, the one with all the soil and the seeds that they're going to pull from. And then we're going to assign the pots and drying racks that they need to work on. So once you click that, you're going to go ahead and hold shift and select all the pots that you want them to work on. In our case, it's all of these, as well as the drying racks. Holding shift allows you to multiple select, as you can see. And then when you're done, just let go shift and hit escape or enter to have assigned all of those different things. And we're done with that. Now, before we assign the handlers, let's go ahead and assign the stations to where they should be delivering their products to, because the stations themselves can be assigned as well. Starting with the pots over here, we're going to go ahead and hold shift and select 4 of them. I want 4 of them to go ahead and manage. We're going to use the OG Kush seed, or you can just make sure they have any seed selected. It's up to you. You can add any additives if you require any of these. I'm not going to be using any. And then you're just going to hit the destination key where it says none. And we're going to send these 4 to this shelf right over here. Once you've done that, you can right click to deselect. Once you've done that, you'll see that we haven't done these 2 pots. I'm going to manage them individually. So manage this one. I'm going to send its destination to the first drying rack. And then I'm going to send the second pot destination to the second drying rack. So essentially 4 of the pots will be stocking the main supply. And then 2 of the pots will be going to the drying rack to increase the quality, right? So if you go ahead to the drying racks, we can hit E to manage. You can select the quality that you desire. This is more important later on in the game. So if you're still early in the game, you can rather go for 8 pots instead of a drying rack. It's up to you. Now for the drying racks, we're going to hold shift and we're going to select both of them and then manage both of them to have their destination output sent to this shelf over here. Now this shelf is going to be filled up really slowly and we're going to kind of manage this ourselves with some high-end products, which I'll show you how we're going to do later. All right, so this room is done. Now we can go to the mixing room, right? So the mixing room with the packaging station, these have to be applied. We're going to be starting over here at this mixing station. So hit E with the keyboard while you have it open. Set the threshold to how much you want. In our case, we're going to go full on with 10. Hit the destination, and pretty much when the product is mixed there, the end product is going to be sent to this one. So select the one next to it, and then you're going to hit escape, and then you're going to manage this mixing station. You're going to set the threshold to 10, hit the destination, and it's going to move on to the one over right here. And then you can hit escape, and then manage the final mixing station, change the threshold, hit the destination. The destination of this one is the end product that needs to be packaged. So it's going to go to the packaging station like so. Hit escape. And now we can edit the packaging station to have a destination to our final product. So this shelf right over here is where our final product is going to be stored for us to come in and grab and go ahead and supply our dealers with. So now that all the machines and everything is set up correctly, all you need to do now is assign the handlers. Now, first, we're going to start off with our primary handler, the one that is necessary entirely for this process. We're going to manage them. We're going to assign them a bed. Select any bed so that it's theirs, and then we're going to assign them to a station. Now, this handler is going to be assigned to the packaging station. They're going to be doing all the packing, so assign them to that station. There's only one that they need to do. The main system we're going to be using here is the routes to have them packing everything that they need to pack. So click Add New, and then they're going to deliver from here to here. So hit from here, the none key, and you're going to start with the back shelf over here with the mouthwash. They're going to take from there, and they're going to supply this mixer over here, just like so. Then you're going to hit Add New, and you're going to do the same thing for this one over here in the middle. And then you're going to hit add new. You're going to hit the shelf over here for the bananas and deliver to this mixing station. So these 3 tasks are quite simply going to make him deliver this stuff here, and the bananas over here. But you'll see if we speak with him, we still have 2 additional routes that we can add here. So we're going to go with the next one. We're going to hit here, none. So he's going to take from this shelf, the one with the jars closest to the packaging station, and he's going to deliver it to the packaging station. And then his final one, the most important one, is actually going to be the end product that gets put into this shelf. So this is all the seeds that are made. He's going to take it from here and he's going to deliver it to the first mixing station where the chemist will start mixing everything and it will eventually make its way to the final product. So select this mixing station that you start on. And this handler is now complete. In essence, that is pretty much the bare bones and the basics of everything. In this case, you would have to maintain this shelf, this shelf, this shelf, and the jars. You'll have to make sure that you refill those all the time because once one of them is empty, the whole process is going to stop. Which is why I have the next handler making it a whole lot more simpler for you to access and see. So interacting with our next handler, this handler is going to have a bed assigned to them. Assign them to a bed just like so. They're not going to have any stations. Instead, they're only going to have routes. So we're going to add all the routes here. It's pretty much going to be doing a bunch of moving and restocking supplies. Now, before we go through the routes, I want to show you this room over here with all the beds. I have 4 storage racks over here. You can notice that one of them has the soil and the seeds. One of them has bananas. One of them has Coke. One of them has the mouthwash. Quite simply, our logic here is to use these shelves to repack the main ones so that when you come back into this house, you just have to restock here and the handler will go ahead and restock all the individual stations that need to be filled, including like this one. Now, this is only 4 racks, and that is why the 5th one is actually going to be the second row of jars, which will be pulling from these jars and filling up this shelf over here. So you'll just have to micromanage this shelf to make sure these are always filled with jars. So let me go show you how this works. You're going to go to the handler, hit manage, start with the first route, deliver from. We're going to start with the very first one here with the jars over here, deliver from here, and then to the main one over here. So whenever this empties, she'll use this one to restock this one. So click here. Then she's going to deliver from this next location. So this next one is going to be the soil and the seeds. Deliver from here and restock this one as these products run out. Then to the next one, we're going to start with the bananas and send them to the banana shelf, which is right over here. Don't worry, they can reach through this. Deliver from the next one. The next shelf is going to be with the Coke. So deliver from Coke and deliver it to the Coke rack over here. Then the next one, deliver from the final one with the mouthwash like so, and deliver to the mouthwash rack right over here. And there you go. That is how it should look. Now, before I set them all up and show you how this works, I do have space in this room for some of your own activities. If you want to experiment with your own mixes or, you want to package a product yourself quickly, we're going to place a rack over here like this. We're going to place a mixer like this, and then a packing shelf right over here. So that if you need to do anything yourself, you can come in here, you can use the shelf to grab whatever you need, you can mix whatever you need, and you can package whatever you need without having to interfere with any of the system here because they're going to be doing their own thing and you only have to grab the final products from the shelf. Now, in order to get the workers working, you just have to go ahead and put money in all of their briefcases. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to supply them with their wages so that they keep working. And then they'll come in here quite simply and you'll see they'll start doing their job. They'll start packing and soiling and doing everything that they need to do. Now I'm just going to head back to my factory while we wait for them to make some product. A few days has already gone past. Let's see how they're doing. Looks like everything is being worked. There's product on the final shelf here. Everybody is doing what they should be doing, mixing all the stuff. Looks like there's stuff on the packaging station. The Botanist is pretty much filling up and doing all of this work over here, stocking this shelf with product that needs to go through the mixer. And it looks like we have about 16 jars worth of product. Now, the product we're making over here is going to sell for $87 per each item. So this is a very good profit for this seed quite early on with 3 mixes. There might be some better mixes with more advanced stages that you can probably make. But in this case, we're doing a 3-stage mix. to get to a value of $87, which is over double the original OG Kush price at $38. And that's it for this bungalow guide. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching.